So I became very triggered with someone, and I decided after the fact to take notes and read about it. And I believe that I had the interaction with them, so this is what I wrote. Was it worth it to throw everything away in order to be mean to me? This is like almost a year ago, maybe less. Between a half year and a year ago. The fact that you always want to be mean to me and think you'll get away with it always breaks my heart. I recognize I'll never be enough, and nothing I do ever is enough. You'll always find a reason to speak disrespectfully to me and be abusive through name-calling and a hostile tone, a demeanor of contempt toward me. You seem to be willing to hurt yourself, sabotage your own well-being just to be able to lash out at me and violate boundaries. I'm sure you felt powerless, lonely, and anxious in the moment because that's how you tried to make me feel. But I'm not able to tolerate or accommodate it anymore. I can't host someone who's determined to provoke me and bring out the worst in me, or to try to shame or humiliate me for getting upset. Each of us has to live with our choices. You make my home environment uncomfortable for me. You make me feel sad and frustrated by how you treat me and talk to me. I feel like a big, fat, ugly body, and I have to get you to listen if I don't want to call the police on you. That's not the way I want to live my life right now, except I can't help you almost with everything, because I always end up getting hurt and my most basic expectations get unmet. It seems that you treat strangers who are getting paid at their job to help you 100 times better than me, who does it out of love and care. For some reason, your defensiveness or inner struggle means you escalate a situation of mild disagreement or some conflict of opinion within seconds to the point of literally abuse and lashing out at me, where I have to then have very strong consequences to protect my inner child from you, such as kicking you out, forcing you to be quiet. It felt so unfair to me. I felt so caught off guard earlier, and honestly, it was traumatizing to have you keep on attacking my character and refusing to be silent or to pause when I was clearly so affected and upset. It's shocking to the system to be a host and generous and a friend and be treated like an enemy with so much hatred and a cruel attitude. What I learned today is that you're not safe or healthy for me, and that you don't mean it when you say the words "you love me." It's the way you try to manipulate me. I also learned you don't care about my feelings, and that your autopilot to feel safe is to always try to test boundaries and try to turn me against myself. It's obvious you can't relate to me, understand me, and that you feel entitled to my support and generosity without appreciating it or recognizing its value. The truth hurts me more than I can put in words, but acknowledging and accepting the reality is also comforting in a way. To not waste energy or betray myself by being in denial or avoidance. Things will be different from now on. I wish you a full recovery speedily and an easily transition forward. So sometimes you have this is by Kier Litchfield. Moving into like a analogy, we have different chemical solutions when they're mixed together, cause different reactions. So, for example, he shared about bleach. So, let's say bleach on its own. Bleach and water is safe, but bleach with peroxide is safe only in small amounts. Bleach and dish soap is safe only if there's no ammonia. Bleach and baking soda is safe, but bleach and detergent is safe if no ammonia. Bleach and alcohol is dangerous. So it depends on the two that come together. Maybe this person that I was saying all this to at that time was just something that didn't match well, right? Bleach and acetone is deadly. Bleach and cleaners is very risky. Bleach and vinegar is a chemical weapon. Bleach and Drano, boom. Bleach and ammonia, chemical weapon. Okay, next I want to say that the Midrash says on Shabbos Devarim that to people who say they reject tradition because they only believe what they see with their own eyes, rationalizing an unrestrained lifestyle, Reb Saadiah Goan says 1,000 years ago, no one can live in a human society without accepting reliable tradition. This type of skeptic would have to doubt his right to inherit his father's possessions, or the fact that he's his mother's son. Wholehearted versus broken-hearted yearnings. So wholehearted yearnings to be a wife, to be a mom, to enjoy my privileges, for everyone to be united in shades of age and shades of faith, and to share my presence, blessing, wisdom, creativity, enjoyment, to serve Hashem. Broken-hearted is power, someone to choose me, approval, respect, to be liked, calm, peace, to be seen, heard and known and understood and wanted and supported, and to feel clean and pure inside, to be healthy and strong and well and fit and beautiful and sexy. And I think the difference for me was that the yearning of something that is separated means there's two sides. So the one is yearning for something that's separated or outside to come together to become one, versus the wholeness is to grow and expand in all directions, kind of. There's a book, Healing Your Emotional Self by Beverly Engel, and there's 7 mirror distortions from parents. 1, I'm unlovable mirror. When parents are neglectful or do not have time for their child, they send the message that the child is unwanted and unlovable. I'm worthless mirror is number 2, when the child is physically or emotionally rejected or abandoned by their parents, the messages that they receive are that they are worthless. The I'm nothing without my parent mirror is when the parents are overprotective, or we also call it like smothering, emotionally smothering. They send the message that their child is helpless without them. And I'm powerless mirror is that when parents are overly controlling and tyrannical, they cause their child to feel powerless. 5, I'm never good enough mirror. When parents are perfectionistic, they give their child the message that they only have value if they meet their parents' expectations, which is never or rare. And I'm bad or I'm unacceptable mirror, number 6. When parents are verbally abusive, hypercritical, excessively shaming, the message they send their child is that he or she is a bad person or unacceptable. And the I don't matter mirror. When parents are self-absorbed or narcissistic, the message that they give their children is that their needs are not important and they do not matter. Beverly Engel, also in this book, says that many parents undermine their children's self-esteem and create in them a sort of self-anxiety by treating them, if any or all of the following ways: a lack of warmth, affection, acknowledgement, respect, or admiration, as well as with unreasonable expectations, domination or indifference, belittling, isolation, or unfair, unequal treatment. Many of the ideas we have about ourselves were acquired in childhood from 2 sources. 1, how others treated us, and 2, what others told us about ourselves. How others defined us becomes how we now perceive ourselves, which is self-image and self-concept. Self-image is who I think I am. It's the package I put together from how others have seen me and treated me, and from the conclusions I drew in comparing myself to others. Self-esteem and self-worth depend on this. Our self-image. Our self-esteem and self-worth depend on our self-image, which is basically how much we like or approve of ourselves or give our self-respect to our self-image. The body is a reflection of many things, including how safe I feel in the world, my level of emotional health, my level of physical self, how well emotionally, physically I was taken care of as a child, messages received from the parents and others about how they feel about our body, messages the parents gave about self-care, messages the parents passed on concerning body perfection. And parents often who undermine the child's self-esteem and create this sort of self-anxiety we mentioned often have narcissistic personality disorder, is when narcissism at its extreme becomes a character disorder. The DSM-IV, or is it 6, list the following characteristics: inflated, grandiose sense of self-importance, exaggerates own abilities and achievements, preoccupation with fantasies about unlimited success, fame, power, beauty, perfect love, uncritical adoration. 3, a belief that she or he is special, unique, and can only be appreciated and understood by other special, unique people. 4, requires excessive admiration. 5, sense of entitlement, unreasonable expectations, or being treated especially favorable or automatic granting of his or her own wishes. 6, exploitative of his or her interpersonal relationships, takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own needs. And 7, a lack of warm empathy for others, unwilling or unable to recognize or identify with the feelings or needs of others. 8, is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. 9, arrogance and haughtiness in behaviors and attitudes. And those with NPD or strong traits of narcissism will exhibit a tendency to feel rage with little objective cause, or readiness to treat people with cool indifference as punishment for hurtful treatment or as indication of the fact that they have no current use for the person. A tendency toward severe feelings of inferiority, shame, emptiness, exhibitionism, and need to be looked at and admired. A tendency to over-idealize or devalue people based largely on a narrow focus. Narcissistic parents are invested in preventing kids from becoming separate individuals and do not recognize that their kids have their own feelings, needs, and desires and perceptions, and take it as disloyalty or insensitivity if a kid doesn't share the same emotional state. And they train kids to trust their own reality and thoughts and allow others to think for them, because a narcissist attempts to define the child's reality, telling them what they're thinking and feeling and creating great confusion in kids' minds. Any movement toward autonomy on the part of the child is met with parental pain, resentment, anger. Children of narcissistic parents often feel that they do not have a right to exist. Elan Golumb of Trapped in the Mirror book says that the selves have been twisted out of their natural shape, since any movement toward independence is created as a betrayal, is treated like a betrayal and something that can cause the parent unbearable harm, irreparable harm. And then neglect is a way that many parents undermine their children, is the way many parents have undermined their children's self-esteem and created a sort of self-anxiety. In neglect, it's physically, which could be a failure on the part of the parent or primary caregiver to provide for the child's basic physical needs, whether it's food, water, shelter, attention to hygiene, as well as the emotional, social, environmental, medical needs, as well as the failure to provide adequate supervision. And it could be emotional neglect, which is a failure to provide the nurturing and positive support necessary for a child's emotional and psychological growth and development, providing little or no love, support, or guidance, and includes inattention to the child's needs for acknowledgement, affection, emotional support, being uninterested in a child's feelings, activities, or problems. The core of the personality formed by feelings of self-worth, self-esteem, level of self-esteem affects virtually every aspect of ourself. It affects how we perceive ourselves and how others perceive us, and how they subsequently treat us, and our choices in life, from career to who we befriend or get romantically involved with, how we get along with others, how productive we are, how much we make use of our aptitudes and abilities, and our ability to take action when change is needed, and our creativity and stability, and whether we lead or follow, our ability to form intimate relationships. And emotional abuse attacks a child's emotional development and a sense of self-worth. The victim becomes somebody who views herself as unworthy of love and affection, including both, acts and omissions by caretakers and parents, which can, cause serious behavioral, cognitive, emotional, mental disorders. The maltreatment might be including verbal abuse, which is constant criticism, ridiculing, shaming, shaming, but blaming, belittling, insulting, rejecting, inappropriate teasing, placing excessive, unreasonable demands on a child beyond his or her capabilities, being overly controlling, rejecting or emotionally abandoning a child, including being cold, unresponsive, withholding love, emotionally smothering a child, including being overprotective or unwilling to allow the child to create a separate life from the parents. Abuse, neglect, and smothering would lead to a distorted or inadequately developed sense of self. And I think we will stop there. I made a mistake earlier when I said that we will be, that the last video I did was for Wednesday. It's actually was for Thursday. This video I'm making now is for Friday. I just wanted to cover everything we were supposed to. But yeah, all right, okay. This will be the last video for the whole Passover. I wish everybody a very miraculous and happy, healthy, kosher Passover with lots of love and passion and peace and good guidance and living in the answer, enjoying the journey one step at a time. A Nisan this month, Aries, full of, productivity and accomplishments, blossoming, beauty, cuteness, sweetness, arousal, being spiritually awake and fully alive, and most importantly, abundance and good network and connections and good company. And that may we all have a good Shabbos, a holy, sweet, beautiful Shabbos, cozy and soft, and just feeling like being hugged by the earth and by each other's energy. And may we get ready for Pesach. I'm still not finished. I have a lot to do. May it all be smooth and successful. And I might go drink some coffee to be able to do so. All right. Till next time. May it all be worth it. Maybe see how it was all worth it. Okay, bye.